In the past few weeks, there has been a lot of talk about India's friends in the international arena. In this video, I talk about how India has scored a diplomatic victory in the last few weeks and explain how it has received great support from partners and friends. So let's go to pre May 7th. Dr. Jaishankar, who is the Foreign Minister of India, spoke to many countries, big, small, powerful, and was gathering support for India's position against terror and support for combating cross border terrorism. Every country condemned the terror attack in Pahalgam. The following are the countries Dr. Jaishankar spoke to: France, Germany, USA, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, United Kingdom, Cyprus, Denmark, South Korea, Algeria, Israel, Egypt, Nepal, Argentina, New Zealand, Indonesia, Japan, UAE, Greece, Guyana, Panama, Slovenia, and I might have missed a few, right? This includes conversations at different levels of leadership in the diplomatic arena. Between May 8th to May 9th, he was also in touch with foreign ministry representatives of our regional partners, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Prime Minister Modi, as the head of government of India, spoke to heads of government of various countries. The leaders of these countries held phone calls with Prime Minister Modi. The list of countries Prime Minister Modi spoke to was, and the leaders were President of Russia, the Emir of Qatar, the US President, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, UAE's President, Prime Minister of Italy, President of France, Prime Minister of Israel, and the Prime Minister of UK, to name a few. The former Prime Minister of UK, Rishi Sunak, also supported India via a statement. This is not me saying. You can verify and check via social media accounts of MEA India, their representatives, and Dr. Jaishankar. Now, coming to diplomacy, right? Diplomacy is always nuanced. You must remember that every country has its own interests, its own political compulsions, its own regional dynamics, its own history, and its own strategic short term and long term interests. Don't expect diplomacy to be black and white. The statements are always going to be measured in tone and in wordings, but it is important to understand the underlying message and read between the lines. My own personal opinion is that India has won the diplomatic battle just based on the sheer number of conversations they've had with various countries and also leadership to leadership level conversations. And this is important. We aren't done yet. With the member of parliament delegations about to start soon, the next phase of diplomacy has only begun. These MP delegations, the member of parliament delegations, are going to be visiting various countries across the globe starting very soon. Now, with this information and data, many of you might have the question: who can we trust fully and who are our closest allies? I will choose five countries and not in any specific order, who I would define as India's real friends. Starting with the first, Israel, a steadfast ally and someone who can be relied upon in our fight against terror. Their ambassador has said, and I quote, Israel supports India's right to self defense. Terrorists should know that there is no place to hide from their heinous crimes against the innocent. The second being Russia, one of our oldest friends, partners, a major supplier of defense equipment, and someone who has always stood by us. President Putin expressed full support to India in the fight against terrorism. He emphasized that the perpetrators of the heinous attack and their supporters must be brought to justice. Saudi Arabia and UAE. And I'm taking both of these countries together because they're close regional partners and also very close friends of India. Very significant countries in the Gulf region and in the Islamic world. Both countries have great people to people ties with us, trade and centuries old economic ties. Prime Minister Modi also enjoys a very close personal relationship with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, and the President of UAE, Mohammed bin Zayed. Both sides, and I'm reading out a statement, joint statement between India and Saudi when they met just a few days after the Pahalgam incident. Both sides strongly condemned the gruesome terror attack in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir on 22 April 2025, which claimed the lives of innocent civilians. In this context, the two sides condemned terrorism and violent extremism in all its forms and manifestations and emphasized that this remains one of the greatest threats to humanity. They agreed that there cannot be any justification for any act of terror for any reason whatsoever. They rejected any attempt to link terrorism to any particular race, religion, or culture. They welcomed the excellent cooperation between the two sides in counterterrorism and terror financing. They condemned cross border terrorism and called on states to reject the use of terrorism against other countries, dismantle terrorism infrastructure where it exists, and bring perpetrators of terrorism to justice swiftly. Both sides stress the need to prevent access to weapons, including missiles and drones, to commit terrorist acts against other countries. And now I'm going to read a call out, a statement, describing the call between the President of UAE and Prime Minister Modi of India. President His Highness Mohammed bin Zayed of UAE called Prime Minister Modi and conveyed condolences on the loss of lives in the barbaric terror attack on the Indian soil of Jammu and Kashmir. He strongly condemned the attack and expressed full solidarity and support with India. Now, moving on to the fifth country, and I named Israel, Russia, United Arab Emirates, and Saudi Arabia. So, France is the fifth country. Another major supplier of defense equipment. France has been a strong friend of India since decades. And being a major member of EU, it also helps us connect with the European Union. So, in conclusion, I express my gratitude to our Ministry of External Affairs for their incredible job and aggressive and tireless diplomacy. Thank you.